This is my review of My Hero Academia. Okay, so fresh off of his fight with Muscular, Deku realizes he needs to do something to try and protect Bakugo, and catches Koda up to speed on what's going on, pointing out that the fire is just going to get that's now spreading through the forest is only going to get worse if Koda doesn't do something. So he points out that Koda is probably the only one who can help them put out the fire due to his water quirk. And despite being concerned for Deku's safety, Koda agrees and piggybacks his way back to camp, where they eventually run into Aizawa, who is engaged in a fight with Dabi that we only saw like a brief moment of in the last episode, and is able to actually win the fight. But then it's revealed that Dabi isn't actually Dabi, and is actually a clone created by another villain named Twice, who is, for lack of a better word, he's kind of My Hero Academia's equivalent to Deadpool. He has split personality disorder, speaks in two very contrasting voices, and is overall a very comically lovable character. Dabi also, and as Dabi's clone is on the way out, it establishes that what their plan is to attack some of the students. At which point Deku runs into Aizawa and lets him know what's going on, but before Deku actually has to hear the whole spiel about the Hosu incident, which is still fresh in his mind, and also points out that he hasn't forgotten, runs off to give Mandalay a message, both from Mr. Aizawa and himself, about how Bakugo is in trouble and about how the students are now permitted to use their quirks to punch villains. So yeah, Deku takes off to go deliver the message while Aizawa and Koda go to put out the fire. At which point Koda just expresses concern for Deku, pointing out that he's afraid he'll never able to actually say thank you to Deku for saving his life. And Aizawa points out that he will indeed have an opportunity to do so because he got those injuries because he's trying to save people, but also points out that he will have to scold him a little bit for using his quirk without his permission. So yeah, that's coming. We know that's coming eventually because it's been established at this point that students aren't supposed to use their quirk without permission. So yeah, it's clear that they're not supposed to engage in. So it's clear at this point that they're not supposed to engage in villains, and Deku did anyway, knowing full well the consequences. So yeah, but eventually Deku does catch up to Mandalay and relays his messages to her. At which point she tells very confusing, conflicting messages about how the students are now able to use their quirks, and then immediately tells everybody that Bakugo isn't supposed to fight back because they're after him specifically. And because of Deku's sudden arrival, the two villains that were fighting Tiger and Mandalay, Spinner and Magne, who appeared in the last episode but I didn't picture them, so I'm gonna picture them here, are actually conflicted about what to do, and it's that moment of hesitation that enables the Wild Wally Pussycats to finally finish them off. At which point, and Deku continues to run through the forest looking for Bakugo. So he goes on his merry way, and we do find, and it does happen eventually, but it's not gonna happen for a while because of something that happens toward the end of the episode, which I will explain later. But meanwhile, Bakugo and Todoroki are engaged with the villain Moonfish, who apparently has the ability to just spit giant metal protrusions from his mouth, which is weird, but makes sense, I guess. And also Kendo and Tetsu are, after having gotten permission to use their quirks, go to find the villain who's causing the miasma, and they finally do, running into the villain Mustard, who immediately pulls a gun on Tetsu and begins opening fire, pointing out that he's apparently superior to them in every way because is starting to feel like he's not exactly that he's not exactly filled with a whole lot of confidence for UA if this is the best they can do. And it's also revealed that Mustard is apparently a school-age kid who became a villain at a young age, apparently. I mean, granted, what's her name? Granted, Toga did something similar, but it's clear. But if there are kids in this universe turning toward becoming villains, then what does that say of society as a whole in this universe? Just saying. But eventually Kendo gets fed up with his antics and finally starts fanning Mustard's gas away with her big hand Quirk, which enables Tetsu to finally finish him off and causes the gas to go away. Meanwhile Deku still trying to find Bakugo is eventually attacked, but not by a villain. So at which point he's rescued by Shoji, who is now missing part of his tentacle, and it's revealed that Tokoyami's Quirk has apparently gone out of control during the attack and is now rampaging through the forest as well as the villains. So yeah, we finally get to see Dark Shadow in the full power of darkness, and it's not great. So the Quirk is essentially holding its user hostage at this point, and is just rampaging through the forest, knowing full and with no real way to control it. So yeah, now they have to take down a student because Tokoyami's Quirk is now running rampant through the forest, and also Bakugo knows full well that he's being targeted by the villains, but isn't really too concerned about it. So yeah, it's Bakugo. So obviously, and also if it wasn't clear that Shigaraki was using video game analogies up until now, it's laid out pretty bare at the beginning of the episode when he gives his opening monologue. So yeah, it's clear that if you guys were wondering, it was implied that he's been using video game references as part of his villain speeches, and now it's laid out pretty bare that that's exactly what he's doing. So yeah, Shigaraki clearly spent a lot of time playing video games in between being a villain, apparently. Or maybe he's just remembering things from when he was a kid. I don't know. I don't know how long this has been. I don't know what kind of hobbies Shigaraki plays, but Shigaraki has, but apparently he plays video games, so that makes him not relatable, but it does kind of make him a bit more human, because up to this point we've just seen him kind of doing atrocities without any real clues as to where he is, and clearly because of his tragic upbringing, he's not exactly the best person, because we don't really know Shigaraki's backstory up to this point, but it's clear that he played video games at some point. That makes him a bit more human. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy this episode of My Hero Academia, then what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it really helps me out, so I definitely appreciate you doing that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!